What better way to start off videos on my channel other than the opening of the most influential piece of media in my entire life? The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time is more to me than just a fond childhood memory, more than just a nostalgic cartridge sitting on my shelf. This isn't an in-depth look at the whole of what Ocarina of Time is. This isn't a review. This isn't a video particularly about anything specifically about the Zelda series in general. I may actually make some videos like that. But this is a video more to introduce who I am, what drives my gaming passion, and why I have such a deep love of gaming. Sort of a trailer to who I am as a person that loves gaming. So people can come watch this and have a better understanding of the person they're watching on stream or listening to on YouTube. Something a little more personal than a lot of people tend to do. I have a deep passion of gaming that sometimes probably isn't everyone's cup of tea. Like material that makes fun of things even in a light-hearted way doesn't always meld well with me. Abridged videos and the like I find in poor taste usually, and I just don't enjoy them because even if this wasn't the intention, it always feels to me like they don't understand the impact of the source material has on people. Now that's not to say that I can't have fun. I enjoy some memes and good reference jokes, but usually the games mean too much to me to take them down to a level that feels immature to me. Anyways, enough ranting, onto the video. My first game experience was around 2 years old. My family had an NES with the Mario Bros. Duck Hunt combo cartridge. I remember spending so much time playing that. Not that I was ever very good or could ever get past level 3 until much later in life, but I remember loving it. I honestly don't remember many other games I played at that time other than the Noah's Ark NES game that I remember quite enjoying a bit. Then this one called Circus Caper that I remember would never want to work. The times it did, it was too frustrating to play at that age. I don't necessarily remember actually getting my SNES, but it wasn't a very long time between when I was playing the NES and when I got the SNES. I still have most of my games I played back then, including a few NES games I had. Games on the SNES like Speedy Gonzales, a couple Marvel ones that I enjoyed, Batman Returns, Lion King. I unfortunately never got any of the huge SNES games like Earthbound or Super Mario RPG or anything like that. But A Link to the Past. Now that was a gaming experience that amazed my child mind. It was my first ever venture into the Zelda series, or anything RPG-like at all. I was never a smart child gamer. I could never get very far into the main objectives of the games I was playing. I remember having a lot of trouble with early bosses, and most all I did in A Link to the Past was venture around the main map, exploring whatever I found. I spent a lot, and I do mean a lot of time in A Link to the Past, not really doing anything, just having fun as a kid. Now, I very clearly remember the Christmas I got my 64. I remember opening the box and undoing all the packaging. I was beyond excited, much like the N64 kid. I really don't remember what game I had first gotten with my 64, but the first thing I remember the most was going to a gaming store that was a big part of my childhood as well. It was simply called Gamers. Very original name. But it was a fantastic used/new video game store. Wall-to-wall games and accessories from every system you can think of at the time. Great prices, too. Many times my mom would take me there, and I'd spend hours making a decision. But this was the store I bought it from. I remember seeing the same logo as the SNES game I loved so much. The big red bold Zelda on the cover. I knew this was the game I wanted that day. Unfortunately, it didn't come with the box, manual, or anything. It was just the cartridge that I still have, and I still play regularly to this day. I remember being so anxious to get home, pop it in the 64, and start my new adventure. I remember sitting there as the N64 logo spun around in its shiny, cool-looking glory. The piano started playing and the ocarina notes started. I'm not even sure my childhood brain could comprehend the feelings that were going through me. I just remember sitting there fully mesmerized at the screen. The moon over Link and his horse riding by. slowly being introduced to an awesome, ominous-looking castle in the distance, a vast field waiting to be explored, interesting buildings, and an enormous mountain that towered on the horizon. My kid mind was bursting with wonder and amazement. I pressed start, and the familiar melody of the file select I'd known from A Link to the Past greeted me. I typed in my name because I honestly didn't even know his name was Link at the time. Then I continued on. The ominous beginning intrigued me. The dream of Impa and Zelda riding away and Ganon facing young Link got me hyped and wanting to know what was happening. Then being introduced to the Great Deku Tree with his foreboding theme, and Navi clearing up the mood while she flew around Kokiri Village with her fun little jingle. I remember not paying a lot of attention to what everyone was saying. I know it took me a long time to figure out how to progress through the village to even get to the Deku Tree. And I also remember it taking me a very long time to even understand how to complete the full dungeon. I eventually did, and I remember being very sad after watching the Deku Tree fade, and then Saria saying goodbye and give us her ocarina. Once I stepped out of the forest and into the small hallway leading to the field, being introduced to Kapora Gabora, who never annoyed me as much as he seemed to others, neither did Navi. But then the heroic, adventurous music playing as you wander out onto this huge field with so much in front of you. I was blown away by every second of this. But unfortunately, or maybe not, I guess it depends on how you look at it, this was basically where my adventure stayed for years, even though I was playing it all the time. I didn't honestly know how to progress. Sure, I went into Lon Lon, the castle, explored around a lot of places, but I didn't progress much of anything. Just spent a lot of time running around, playing out scenarios in my head, sort of role-playing. There was, however, a file that was left on the cartridge. The file name was from someone called Chris, who was most likely the one who sold it to gamers. It was a fully completed file the size of the Skulltulas. I had eventually decided to load into that, and even still never did much of anything aside of be amazed that Link was older and had cooler looking equipment. Chris, if you're still out there, thank you for giving me the chance to experience a different part of this game that I wasn't able to get to myself just yet. It wasn't until a few years later that I ventured far enough into the castle with this file and tried to get through it all the way to Beast Ganon, and having no idea how to beat him. Some years later, I met my best friend, who eventually told me how to beat Ganon. I was excited to get on and try it. I did it, and it was ecstatic. It wasn't until I was at least 11 or 12 when I actually started a new game and was able to get anywhere. It felt so fulfilling being able to actually play this game the way it should be. Going through each dungeon, fighting bosses, collecting new items, and having a whole new take on a game that I'd just been messing around in for years. The first time I beat Ganon on my own file, it was such a fulfilling feeling. Ocarina of Time is a game that's been talked about over and over and over by thousands of people to the point where it's usually seen as overrated, or a generic game to have as your favorite. And some people sadly don't even enjoy playing it for the first time these days. But there's no denying the impact this game has had on me for so many years, and sparked a love of gaming that's lasted for over 25 years. My apologies if this video is boring, but I just wanted to explain a little of why my favorite game means so much to me. It may even be a video that's kind of all over the place, but I'm just starting out after all. Thank you all for listening, and I'll catch you on my streams and future videos.